problem with the player is he gets buyer's remorse. Buyer's remorse is where the girl was interested, but you've come on too strong, and now they're no longer interested. Do you know how that sucks? To have a set that's on, and because you didn't play solid game, you did not have her fall in love with you. Instead, it became a chase game. Horrible. Horrible. I've lost so many sets that way, you know? Learn from my pain. So, we're not going to do those 4 errors, right? Starting in the middle, error 1. Starting at the end, error 2. Starting at the beginning and jumping over is an error, right? And the other one is starting here and then getting stuck in comfort.
And moving things forward.
From here to here is around 4 to 10 hours, on average, for it to turn into a sexual relationship that has sex more than 3 times. Right? If you only have sex once, it's a one-night stand, there could have been an error in your pickup. If you have sex twice, then there was some sort of problem with your sex if you've never have sex with her again. Right? So you have some problem in your seduction phase if she doesn't want to have sex with you a second time or a third time. But if you have sex 3 times, that's a pattern, and that's a sexual relationship. And that's the whole point of this, playing solid game so that you get a girl because she's so damn hot, she's worth doing this for. Slowing the damn game down for her. So it's 4 to 10 hours. So if you're 4 hours in, you're 4 hours in, you can slow it down. You can actually slow it down. You can say, come on, let's go surfing. Slow it down. The girl has to be worth 7 hours. The good news is there are a lot of girls out there that if you really search, you're going to find a girl who's worth 7 hours of your time. Because it's fun to hang with the girl for the 7 hours, by the way. There's kissing and there's touching and there's holding hands. There's just you rolling off first. So she can chase you. Isn't that funny?
What if you feel like the girl, there's little time you feel like just because of logistics, maybe she has to go back to, she's on holiday and she has to leave the next day?
4 hours. Great.
What do you work?
4 hours. Hey, I've rushed things. Right.
And what's the B and the T and the M?
Okay, I'm going to go through this.
Alright.
So you hear what all the errors are. One error is shrinking this down too much, right? And then you become a player. The other is expanding it too much, and then you're a fool. That's what you are. You're the friend. You've turned into a friend. It's LJBF. Let's just be friends.
Yeah.
You've been LJBF if you're over 10 hours, right? And if you're under 4 hours, you're compromising your comfort. Because you have to actually establish some fucking comfort and it takes some time.
Yeah.
Just your familiarity through time is strong interest, you know? And that's the proof that we as men have that we find them attractive, is we spend our time with them. That's proof, you know? If a girl says, why me, why not someone else? You know, you could have any girl. Why have you chosen me? And you simply can prove your sincerity that for whatever reason it is, you have selected spending time with her over anyone else, and the proof is in the pudding of spending time.
Yeah.
Because we have limited time on this planet. So I mean, that's
What do you tell them when they say, yeah, but why would you choose me?
What's that?
Do you have a reply when? Because sometimes.
No, I just replied that.
Okay. Because sometimes for the photos, when I ask a girl to take photos or to come to see me, and she'll say, oh, but you could be talking to any other girl, so why are you talking to me? So like, what do I say? Oh, because I think you're pretty, or?
Well, I think you make a great photographic subject.
Yeah, that's it, right? There's all there is to it.
Right? If that's what you're thinking.
Yeah. And that's what I tell them.
Just stick to
I don't
the
know if
truth.
if there's something else.
Okay, so now that we have done this is attraction. Comfort has been broken up, where some comfort goes with seduction, some comfort goes with attraction, because these are 3 physical locations. You've got your target-rich location that happens during pickup. Then you have to either time bridge them or bounce them. Time bridge is where you get a phone number, and we don't go for numbers anymore, but the metaphoric phone number and a reason to see each other again. There's two sides. And that gets you into comfort. But notice there's a little comfort here, a little comfort here, because this here is the seduction location. This here is your place. And so you have to have a little bit of comfort before you move into seduction. So now you know a time bridge is getting a contact info and a reason to see each other again. A bounce is where you just bounce from one venue to the next, right? A lot of trust is established. And this is the pickup location, or the attraction location, right? Target-rich location. And there has to be at least a little bit of comfort so you have some compliance so that a time bridge or a bounce will actually take place. I'd rather bounce than time bridge. A time bridge loop is also known as a dating loop. And I hate the dating loop because it's so freaking slow when you're putting a girl on the roster of your phone, on your phone, you know? You have a bunch of girls that you're hanging out with at the various times if they're free. And if the girl's not free, well then, you must move on, right? So that's a dating loop. And this here is doing multiple bounces. You can multiple bounce the set from location to location to location. More memories. Fair? And then these are moves, both the same thing. Here it's your living room and you're moving off into S1, which happens to be arousal. Ding, arousal. The game, however, is one in here. And this part here, she'll seduce you. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So this is open. A2 is male to female interest. This is where I DHV and elicit IOIs while simultaneously negging so that I can be permitted to DHV. Otherwise, it sometimes won't even permit you to DHV. Next is the mirror opposite of A2. Hey, that thing's shaking. Okay. I thought I was doing that. I was like, oh, that's trippy. This is qualifying. You're going to qualify the girl. Bait, hook, reel, release. And then you're going to move the set into the nearby C1 location, leaned up against the bar, somewhere where you can be locked in with the girls around you, so you look cool. The girls will feel like you're cool too because of it. From there, you're in there for as long as you want to be, until you go and bounce the set to the local eatery. This is the C2 location is like your car. When you're driving down the road in your car, you're alone.
Yeah.
You're not in a seduction location, you're not in the attraction location, but it's a good comfort location, right? That's C2. That's your day 2, when you're taking the girl out. And you'll bounce her, now we're going to the mall, and now we're bouncing to the Ferris wheel, and now we're bouncing to however long you have to stay in here. Oh, I gotta see her another time, right? And you'll be trapped in this until you've accumulated 7 hours, where you can then bounce out to your living room. And it is from there you then move into S1, S2, and S3. And notice it's just the beginning, middle, and ending to the beginning, middle, and ending. It just so happens there's also three different jumps, and each one of these is a phase. This move's easy, but it takes skill. It takes skill to take a set that you've just met, and in 3 minutes mesmerize them enough with your body language and the roll-offs in such a way as to have them accept when you say, here, come join me for a moment. And you walk and lean back against something and they come and join you. You've built enough compliance for that little bit of movement. And then you tell a story in that context. And then you say, my friends are here, I've been neglecting them, perhaps I'll introduce you to them. Just don't be an ass. Come join. And next thing you know, I'm getting greater compliance. And they're moving to backwards merging into a previously open set. Right? Hey, these are my friends. This is Tweedledum. This is Tweedledee. Say hi. Be nice. We're surrounded by love tonight. Bubble of love. I'll be back in 1 sec. Now, within the context of having merged 2 sets, I'm already opening the third because I know that these people, whoever they are, have seen me in that moment. And that's when you exploit that moment you created in the now. Right, so this is open. This is DHVing and negging and eliciting IOIs. This is receiving IOIs. This is eliciting information so that you can IOI her back. That's what that is. Moving is so that you can get some compliance momentum happening, because you're ultimately going to be doing a sit-down, take-down if you're going to go make out with a girl, right? Or at least push her up against the wall or something. I'd rather be pushed up against the wall, by the way, rather than push a girl against the wall for the first time. If she's there, you could grab her, move her, and then pull her onto you, right? And then you look cooler.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to rupture social value when you're in the club. Right, so we talked about that. This is your C2. Yeah, you got it all. That's it.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely brilliant.
It is.
There's pickup, mid-game, end-game.
Yeah.
And you could be great at pickup and mid-game, but if your end-game sucks, you're still not going to get the girl.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? The good news is the bad news is you can die, your little Mario brother can die at any one of these phases. Like you could get a girl up to C2 where you had a date with her, a date 2, but then you never see her again.
What
Right?
do you think?
So you know what you do? You put another quarter in the machine, because I've got lots of quarters. Right? Think of it that way, right? You'll get lots of experience up front, like opening, and you get a lot less experience as you go down the road. It's otherwise a really smooth progression, especially near the end here. I don't want to get last minute resistance, right? Or if I do, I want to know how to handle it. I want to know how to minimize it. One of the ways is 7 hours, by the way. You know? Because if you try to play man hands with a girl and you're 3 hours in, and she's saying no, 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 it's going to be really hard to turn her into a long-term relationship, right? A multiple sex girl, you know? So slow it down. Know that it is still only 7 hours. Really, honestly, it's a quarter of a day. Third of a day, quarter of a day. So there you have it.
Where do you think guys today fail the most?
Well, this is structure. So they can fail in structure, they can fail in material to fill the structure, and they can fail in delivery. So I think where they fail is getting out of the house, not trying, not knowing that there's structure, not knowing that it takes time. You need openers, you need some DHV stories, you need some qualifier questions, you need to know how to move the set, you need to have some comfort material where you're getting to know each other and make it interesting, so you have to have some games in there too, right? You'll also be doing multiple groups. So while you're in A3 with one group, you may have to pause for a sec, merge a group in, and for them you're in A1 because you're dealing with the external interrupt. What happens if you're talking to 3 people and 2 people arrive? Oh, hi, oh, hey, right? You have to take over and own the 5 set in a moment, right? So each of these has some material that you fill it in with. What do you do on your day 2? Where are you taking her? You know, some people are like, let's get together for coffee. You're doing something and she can tag along with you. I'm headed to the park to meet up with some friends, and we're going to talk business and talk pleasure. You're welcome to tag along, right? I'll meet you in front of XYZ place and we'll walk there together. Just one example off the top of my head. Living room, your place. Do you have a high-heeled shoe at the front of your...
A rack? A shoe rack, you mean?
No, a single high-heeled shoe. Right in front of your door. So if a girl comes over, she can see that other women have been here. Right? Just simple example. A simple example of some of the info that's in here. And here's the real truth of the matter. There is so much material, and there's such an art form to the delivery of A1 and A2. A2, filled with DHVs, filled with the art of triggering attraction mechanisms. There's a love
my
a
favorite
love
phase.
that you have, a relationship that you have with each of the phases. Some guys are stuck in A1, man. They're stuck in it. But maybe some of them are loving it. They love opening sets. They love opening sets. They actually do. Most guys don't. They hate it. They have a bad relationship with A1. But hey, once they get to C2, they're fine, right?
Yeah.
So you got guys that can open, but then they got problems with DHVing, with triggering, because they're being nice. They're not actually breaking rapport and rebuilding it. And that's a part of A2, is breaking rapport.
Yeah.
With one person, the target, right? Qualifying, some people have qualifying. How do they do it? They don't qualify. They get an IOI and they give an IOI. As opposed to, whoa, slow it down. Tell me about yourself. Make me interested, right? Some people can't move the set. They literally move, and the set stays there, and they're alone. And now they want to rejoin, and it's the worst thing ever, right? As opposed to lean back, talk louder, and if they can't hear you, that's their problem. I still have a story to tell, right? My body stays hot that way. Then they're the ones being weird. Where was I? C1. The games. Look at, like, I can fill these. Each of these phases can be filled. There's so much knowledge. There's a wealth of experience for each of the phases. You know? Bouncing. All the different ways of bouncing the set. Where to take them next. And knowing that you're going to bounce them before you even open the set. Where are you going to take them? You know? Because, I mean, if you're with a wingman, then you might as well grab two different groups, merge them together, and say, party's coming with us. And head to the next venue. Do 2 venues a night. Do you guys do 2 venues a night if you go out? You should do 2 venues a night. Like, if you're going to bother phoning or going online and phoning in that you're going to be there, you know, setting that up, taking the time, do 2 venues. That way, if the first one sucks, you can bounce to the next venue. That way, if the first one is awesome, you can bounce some of the girls to the next venue. And you sweeten the pot, right? And what do I have to say about selection? There's arousal techniques, right? I don't zoom that much into arousal techniques because most guys kind of, they fantasized about all that. But it's the girls that are doing the arousing. The girls do the arousing. I mean, when you've got comfort to the part of connection, that's what C3 is really. It's connection. C2 is trust. Oh no, my bad. That's intimacy. That's trust. And that, wait, what are we talking about? Trust, connection, and intimacy. That's what those 3 are. I was trying to say it backwards. So here you've got intimacy, and you've already established this connection, you have trust established. I mean, you're literally demonstrating things in order to establish trust. This isn't like, you know, do they trust me? No, it's like doing specific demos. Well, like, for instance, if you hold her purse when she goes to the washroom and she comes back and she's got her purse back, that's a strong technical indicator of a trustworthy event, right? Or bouncing from venue 1 to venue 2 and arriving safely. Perfect example of of proof that you are not just the leader of men, because you have a group of people coming with you, an entourage, right? But you're also a protector of loved ones. That's a hard one to demo. You can kind of mention it in the story, but it's hard to demo. So if you can demo it with their lives, that they're fine. In S3, or S2 is last minute resistance, how to deal with that. And I've got thoughts on that. I've got a half-hour lecture on that alone. Okay. And S3 is sets. And I don't zoom into that much either, because by that point, the girl is taking over. And there you have it.
Take time. That's really clear. And it shows really step by step.
There should be a topic in the university, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Teaching this.
Yeah.
People.
And it's all based on beginning, middles, and endings.
Awesome.
Do you see the neg?
Yeah, so I was just saying, oh,
Do you
she's
see
getting
how
her
it
numbers.
hits?
Yeah, I saw it.
Negs are important. Negs are what make the challenge happen,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
I was analyzing
Next-
everything.
Because otherwise, the other game plan is where she gets convinced that I like her,
Yeah,
and the jig is up,
Yeah.
and now I'm here, and now I make a move, and she says no to it, and now what? Because that's the other game plan. That sucks. That's the game plan that you guys have been playing. The other game plan is where you get her to chase you.
yeah,
It's more fun. You have to be more attentive,
yeah,
you know, but you get a hotter girl.
yeah,
It's for a particular type of girl. Those 9s and 10s, they are hard to get.
yeah.
Not hard. Sorry, they're not hard to get. They're just different. They're different to get. And they're harder to find, so they're harder to get good at. Right? Because you got to practice on 10s in order to get a 10. You got to actually practice on hot girls in order to get hot girls. So you got to be willing to lose the next hot girl you find in order to practice material.
Yeah, it
Sure.
makes
That
sense.
sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
But you go in saying that the next 10 that I find that I interact with is going to be my practice set on the 10. So I'm going to run the negging and see how that brings it on. You know.
If you want us to do anything, because you keep talking to
Oh,
us,
there's
you just tell us.
there's nothing to do.
What do you? I don't.
No, but
what do you
something
mean?
like anything
Yeah.
to do or not do. Like
But
for example, you said
That
like
was just a small little micro demo. I can roll the fuck off.
Yeah, I
this,
saw that.
It's a day of letting them be us.
Yeah.
They're dudes now. Let's go have fun with
Yeah.
them, right? And when the nighttime comes, their behavior will change, and they'll start making selections and hitting on them. Let the girl do the seducing.
Yeah,
Attraction plus comfort equals seduction.
yeah,
It isn't attraction plus comfort plus seduction. They will seduce us if they feel comfortable and attracted. You
If there's
can't have
something
two
that's-
magicians
yeah.
in the
Trying
same
to-
set.
So, like if a guy said, you mean like if you're talking to
Yeah.
another guy said, both of them ruins everything, right? Yeah. You need to have that little bubble at some point too, right?
Yeah, you have little bubbles,
Yeah.
but also the roll-offs are powerful
Yeah.
because it's the time you're apart
Yeah.
that they feel like they want to get close to you.
Yeah. I saw the first roll off. It was like, just so interesting. Tell me about more. Tell me everything. Okay. I was like, did he just?
Yeah. It's like,
And then he came. I was like, ooh. So new.
so the question is if that's something you do consciously or it's just become
That's
part of you.
unconscious.
Yeah, right?
That's
Yeah.
unconscious.
That's what I thought too. It's just become a part of you.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way of being.
Yeah.
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 But it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Giving people the distance to chase you. Isn't that a smart idea?
Yeah.
How could you ever be chased if you don't walk away?
What do you do if, for example, because this girl, she came again this morning. Now don't want to do anything. She's just like me. So second time she come here, third time she comes here on my bed kissing, third time, and then when I would try to like touch her boobs or just get to her pants, she's like, oh no, I didn't came for this. But I rubbed her butt, did the massage on her butt, just keep, and then we kissed on my bed. She stayed for an hour. She came at
Do you
8
have
in
the
the
book,
morning.
The Mystery Method?
Yeah, I read it.
Because there's a whole chapter on last minute resistance.
No, I
You were
did.
talking
I know about all this.
LMR.
I've been doing it like many times already.
But you were doing this and she's doing this. You're
Yeah, but-
doing this and she's doing this. And then he goes, aha, I got a better idea. He goes like this.
no, that's what I meant.
no.
But sometimes, because with the photos, actually,
No, they're supposed to. The way it works is you say things like, touch me. Touch my skin. Right? You don't touch her skin. You take her hand, put it on your knee, and let go.
yeah.
You don't put your hand on her knee. You take her hand and put it on your knee and let go. That's keynote. Then you can say, can you cook? No? Well, then get off. Now it's a joke, right?
I've never seen this anywhere.
This is so important. This stuff is so important.
I'm gonna do that.
It's funny.
Bring her closer.
It's funny and important because from meat to sex, you have to push her off several times. How do you push a girl off that's not after you? That's the art, is pushing a girl off who's not after you, so that she starts feeling like she's being pushed away. So you must have value. So she tries to get you, and then she finally wins.
I feel like, because I've never had, at first, like 3 years ago, I would have more resistance. I had to do the moves and stuff. And now, little by little, I felt like I was doing them, and the work, and also the game earlier was also good. So I felt girls now, they don't. It's rare they give me resistance, even because of the photos. But her, she's giving me resistance. But she was there, so she spent about 2 hours on bed. We kept talking. We kept kissing from time to time. But I felt like sometimes we just like, okay, you don't, okay, no problem. And I went to get some milk and eating cereals like this, keep talking, like I wasn't showing interest. But I felt like she would, if I just stayed, if I had even waited 10 minutes, 20 minutes, she would be like, just not trying anything. Maybe I should have just taken her hands or whatever, I don't know. I felt like if I did nothing, she would come back. She was so weird.
I like saying this for the hand holding. I want to try something. That's what I do. I want to try something. Give me your hand. And sometimes they'll go, right?
No.
Then they're like, what is that about? If they're not laughing, you're not getting her going, right? Then
She took it too hard.
then you did it wrong. The whole thing's supposed to be jokey. Remember, we're winning them over with humor anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you tried the serious thing, you know? Well, you may go sexual with the camera, but that's already later in the set. You're not opening with it, you know? You're opening with fun. Look at Dexter. Look at however his demeanor is. When women are around, he perks up.
Yeah.
And he perks up, but he's just as silly.
Yeah.
He'll do silly things. He'll fart. You know, all this stuff, and it all works.
Yeah.
Because later on, they'll see him in a club, and they'll see him demo, and him all decked out, looking cool. They know there's multiple Baxters he needs to perform in front of the same girl to build a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Multiple Erics, you know. Sometimes they'll see me decked out. Sometimes they'll see me acting like a baby, not a baby, but you know, could you make me a hot chocolate, please? Right? Sometimes they'll get me in manhood mode, where I'm in charge of a boot camp, right? Where girls are secondary. We've got some actual life-changing work to accomplish, you know. So I need the girls to see me in multiple characters and multiple clothing, right? Like you look in a suit, you know, so I can see you showing both. You have to show down. You have to show it because this is down. This is what down looks like,
at the beach,
right? You're at the beach, but they also have to see you decked out one time, you know, with that beard, in a suit.
I need to take more pictures with this suit, it's true. But this winter, it will be the winter. I find at least a jacket. I have a jacket.
And what you do is the neat thing about tattoos, and I'm sure you know this, is some girls, they have a tattoo hidden. And what they'll do is they'll reach up and scratch for a moment. So it reveals that she has a tattoo and then it disappears again. They flash their tattoos.
Yeah,
so when you look at the time, right? Or when you reach out, just this here will be seen, right? So when you reach out to get something, tattoos will be seen and then they disappear again. Just remember that that's a part of flashing DHVs into a girl, right? Because those are going to bait her. If she doesn't know you have tattoos because you're wearing a suit when you meet a girl, reach out, grab something so that she can see that, then she'll ask about it. Then you get to take the coat off and create a new look for her with the tattoos, you know?
if you remember in Paris at the strip
Rather
club.
than reveal it all, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? You want to reveal, because you've got more on your body.
Just one here and one here.
Exactly. But she has to win you taking your shirt off to see those. So she shouldn't see you the first time with your shirt off, because you've revealed all your things that you want to do when you're lying in bed, and you want to say, this means this means this. Go check my body out. Take the shirt off, you're lying in bed. You know, then you can explore your body with her.
Yeah.
Right? Don't reveal it all at once.
Do you remember in Paris at the strip club where you were
You wanna
wearing
see
your
my tattoo?
blazer?
Yeah.
And the stripper, I saw you at some point. You were like telling her about all, because she took it off.
Because she
And
asked
was
me.
like,
Yeah, because she asked me. Yeah.
Yeah.
First, yeah, my worries was like, oh, first you have to pay for club. If it's a nice club, then it was expensive. But like, I didn't even bother going. And now we went together, and then actually some clubs are free.
Yeah.
Some clubs you have to pay, but some clubs are free. These clubs were free, and then.
But they're
and
free,
then
but only to the people they want to let in.
also, yeah, exactly. So yeah, you'd rather choose the people that let in. So it's really about how you go up to the bouncer and how he feels about you, to know whether he's gonna let you or not.
So one of the game plans that I was showing William was when we went in, you go in very confident, you're like, hey, I'm here again, right? Even if you've not been there again. Oh, hey, I'm here again.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, they don't want to take the risk of getting you in trouble. And I sort of move as if I'm still moving forward. I don't wait for their answer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, hey, I'm here again. And I keep sort of slowly moving forward, not running in.
Yeah.
Like that. And when we were in, I spoke to who I thought would be like the head. There's always the head sort of organizer in there, or doorman or whatever. And I said to him, hey, what's the best way of bringing my entourage in? And I pointed, luckily the harbour was outside with the very expensive yachts. I want to bring my entourage in next week. So what's the best way to do that? Because I don't really want to go through the website, because they annoy me. I'd like just to speak to someone personal, and you seemed like the coolest dude in the place. Do you have a card? And then they give the card, and I was like, what's your name? And he's like, Julian, even though it's on the card, I like to do that. I'm Rob, really get a connection going. And then later on when I leave, speak to the people that are really on the door, and then go up and say, hey, Julian said you're the perfect person to speak to about getting in next week with my entourage. Do the whole thing again, but you've now name dropped the main guy in there who works there to the main girl on the door, and now you're getting all these connections. And we ended up with a ton of business cards of all the places we went. So it says VIP rooms, and how do you say that one?
Gaio.
Gaio.
Yeah, that was the name of the last one.
And that one?
That's l'opera.
So I don't know if that's going to pick up on camera. He's even got his picture on that. He's a pretty cool dude. So we've got them now, and when I go to the door next time, I'll pull them all out, and I'll be like, Julian said I'll be fiddling with them like we go everywhere. Exactly. Everyone was very responsive. We were partying, and when we went in one bar, or club I should say, we did hired gun game. So, but first of all, I went to I thought the prettiest model that worked there, hired gun, that worked there to be beautiful and dance around the table, and I did like a little hideaway trick, and she smiled, and then I went back, and then I went to do a high five, and she went up like that, and I pulled down and went, no, shh, it's a secret, do a low five, and she went like that, and then I held her hand for a bit, and I went, I gotta go. And then we went to the barmaid, and she's like, how can I help you? And she's like, oh, we only do bottles. We don't have beers on the menu. Like, as if, even though I do just buy beer sometimes. And then she pulled, and I was like, yep, I need to know what it is. Like that. We're looking at it, and then we're DHVing ourselves, talking to her a bit. I said the same thing about the entourage. So that's a good tip for you. And then I sent you in because her English wasn't exactly perfect, even though she got most of what I said. But I can then move away as if I'm not now asking, but you are. So I've left you to it. And you closed her on Instagram, And what was that all about? Tell us about that.
I just asked her if she had Instagram to offer to do some photo shoot. Actually, not this girl. I just gave her your Instagram.
That
So-
was the second one. That was the second bar.
That you opened. But then
No,
the
I'm
second
on
bar-
about now the barmaid.
The barmaid. Yeah, the barmaid. That's what I
Who's
do.
beautiful.
I just ask the girls if they want to do photos, because girls like to do photos. So it's my photographer game, and I just say, oh, have you ever taken photos with the photographer before? We should do some photo shoot, because girls, most of the girls, they love to take photos. So I just say, oh, you have Instagram? You can just add me, see my photos if you like them. We can do a photo shoot together. And so I just always take their Instagram like within 1 minute.
But the key, I think, the good bit is because it was a busy bar and because it was a popular place where beautiful women are working and go to. You can't just go up and say that. You can't just go up to her behind the bar and say, hey, I want your Instagram, blah blah blah. We've led up to that point with the DHVs, the way we're acting. She must have seen me flirting with a hot model that works there before. I'm doing fake social proof, pretending to wave like, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. Hi, yeah, all that stuff you see me do all the time, yeah. And they don't know that there's no one over there, or there's a group of hot girls. You don't have to know them, right? It doesn't matter, right? You're just waving while someone's looking at you. And then we went and I said, let's go to the next one. We got that details. We didn't need to buy a drink. Went to the next one. This is the third bar now. And on the third bar, what did you notice? It was the two girls standing near the door.
The third bar.
Do you remember the spin? I did the spin and I put her arm around
the
and I
VIP
leant
room.
back with
The
her.
VIP room, yeah.
And I did that, the
Yeah,
hide again.
yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And she's like, what? You look just like my sister. And she's like, oh my God, really? What? I said, yeah, she's coming now, actually. And I want a picture of you both together. It'd be amazing.
I think she's like, what?
Then I pulled William in, speak French to her because her English was a bit broken. And I was saying to you what to say to her, and I was like, oh, William, how rude of us. You should invite them to the house
party,
or the villa or to the party and so on.
We were just asking, right after we asked him, oh, do you have WhatsApp? And right away she gave it.
Yeah, and then a high five span, did the turn. And as you're closing with her, which we haven't, oh no, we didn't get it on film. So when I closed with her, I'm looking at the other one who was equally as beautiful and doing little smiles like that. And then I shook their hand and I kissed my own hand
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
funny.
Right. And then I did the squid away, squid away, squid away bump, which works great. They love that. They always laugh.
Yeah.
And then as I shook the last one's hand, I went, it's been emotional. And she was like, yes, it's lovely. And now we have them.
Yeah, they loved it.
So
And I realized also
work the
these
room.
clubs, there are no rude guys. So if you open, the girls are receptive, they are all nice. Because there are no rude guys. There are more nice guys that doesn't dare to approach than you don't see any rude guys.
Yeah.
There. It's a high-end club, so.
we will show you her on this tomorrow. Because I've sent a request now. She put it in the phone, right? She put it in you gave her mine, you put it in the phone. Again, I stepped away. Your wingman is important. He can come in and help with that. And that's why we do it. And the same with William's closing, and he's got a target that he wants to chat to. When the closing happens, what you do is you call me in to close, and I close for you.
Yeah.
And it shows that, well, it's getting someone else to take the number for him. Who is this guy? That's why it works doubly well.
Yeah.
And I was like, have you met William?
Yeah.
Like that, and you came in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
and
that
you're
was really
not
fun.
really, you're a day gamer.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly,
You're
yeah.
a hardcore day
Hard-
gamer.
I
I've
hardly ever
seen
got
it.
to
You've
game.
done amazing things. And
Now
So
I
for
saw
you,
most
you're
of the
getting-
dynamics of the club game, yeah.
And I think a lot of people, even very experienced club promoters, would struggle in the clubs that we went to tonight because most of the hot girls there are hired guns. They're paid for their beauty to be in the club, and you should see how amazingly beautiful they are. Alright, it's just so everything's possible. You just got to know how to do it.